am the founder of Parent University, which is a resources center for people of all ages with disabilities. And what I do is I try to make life easy in the community and make you just enjoy yourself at whatever pace you can do your thing at in your life. Can everybody hear me? Okay. I said, look like they can't hear me. But on my handout, you will see that I have Rosalind Manning sitting here and Sarah Gatewood. They're going to help me. They're both educators. So they're going to help me to help you. But the way we do this, everybody's going to interact. I'm not just going to sit up here and talk, she talk, she talk. We're all going to interact. So after they introduce themselves and tell you who they are, we're going to start interacting.
Thank you, Dolores. Like she said, my name is Rosalind Manning. I work within Atlanta, Georgia, Stone Mountain in particular. I've been working in the field of special ed and general ed since 1990s. I advocate for students in school and as well as adults. So I'm here to listen and see how to help you, what your needs are at this time. So let me turn it over to Sarah.
And as she said, I'm Sarah Gatewood. And whereas they're still in the workforce, I've been retired from a supervisor for a workshop for the adult disabled. It was a workshop. And so, like I say, I've been out the workforce for over 20, 25, 30 years. So, but I will give you what I have that I can share with you. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to talk about designing your own plan. This is the first time I've ever called this designing your own plan. Usually I call it, let's get ready and live. Just have a great life. But this time I did it a little differently. So we're going to help you design your own plan, but you're going to tell me what your plan is. What plans do you have for your loved one or whoever has a disability, or are you making the right plans for that person? Anybody want to tell me about their plan that they already have? Does anybody have a plan? You want to tell us what your plan is?
Take this way. What's your name?
My name is Emily, and right now I'm in college in the HESED program, and this year my daddy is retiring from his job, and we're gonna move to North Carolina because that's where my sisters live, and they've agreed to help get me my own apartment there, so I can live more independently.
Speak up a little bit. Speak up. Where? Yeah. No, he says North Carolina.
Yeah,
North Carolina, you hear that better? Own apartment.
yeah,
Okay, because you desire to live independently.
yeah.
Okay. That's part of your plan.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So, anyone else?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thanks for sharing.
My plan is to move to Stevens Point and live on my own and start to work. And my other plan is to try to be my own guardian.
Okay. Let's applaud that. Let's applaud that, because that takes some courage. What's your name?
Amanda.
And, okay, anyone? Right here. Thanks, Amanda. What's your name?
No, my name is Catherine, and so my plan basically is to be my own guardian along with a co-guardian. And so I have a co-guardian who is my brother, who is getting married next year, and then at the moment I have guardians that are my parents, and they want to see me live independently on my own. I'm even in an apartment in the community, and then hopefully live on my own, like in my own house, maybe in Australia somewhere.
You say your name is again?
My name is Catherine Bush.
Correct. Okay, okay.
Hi, my name is Pam. I do live on my own. I am my own guardian. I am trying to finish my bachelor's degree, and I do have wonderful guardians. I'm trying to look for some more, but I I do have family that are wonderful, and I do have my own funeral planned out in full. So, that's my plan.
Okay. Hopefully we can help you make some connections. So this is what it's all about, a plan, having a plan. Having a plan. Because without a plan, it's hard to go forward.
Hello, my name's Odessa, and at the moment, let's say I've been living on my own for quite a while, but in the background, I still get help once in a while. But I think my goals are is that the more I get better at something to where I can have the certain help kind of step back once in a while to, like at the moment I can still live on my own, but even though I still have help with with the managing part, but at least to let me to do more things to where, because I have a vehicle, I drive independently by myself, I live independently by myself. Odessa,
Yes, sir, drive.
which to me I always call it was a gift because I always think about those who I work with who probably have not experienced behind a wheel, and if somehow because to me is to even lead toward, because right now I've approached 15 years of working at my job that I've and to realize just how many more years will I want to have, and maybe kind of create like a plans for what I want to do after after when I retire, because nobody works forever. So, but like maybe I have a mother who lives on her own, and she'll be getting older. Maybe I can find ways to help her in return.
Okay, excellent. You said something about goals. That's a very important term, goals. Thank you. Thank you, goals. Okay, goals. That's very important. Let's see who we have here. Okay, Stacy. Stacy.
So I'm Stacy and I'm from Stevens Point, and well, I tried going for my driver's license, but I froze at the wheel, so I was like scared, and I wish the future I could have a driver's license, and then I'd have money issues where it's hard for me to like deal with the money, with handing out money, and I yeah. I struggle with that.
Everybody. How many people struggle with money issues and dealing with it? How many people struggle with that? So you're not by yourself. Thanks for sharing. You got it, keep on working at it. Keep on working at it. Goals, plan. We've got to have a plan. Anyone?
So my story is a little different. I had a plan about 6 months ago. I was working a different job as a program manager for adults with severe and persistent mental illness. My position was dissolved. I was offered a different position as a CLTS waiver coordinator. I took it. That's why I'm here. At the time back then, I wanted to be a licensed professional counselor, so I was going to move forward with that. Now my goal is to learn as much about this program as possible, as many resources as possible to help as many families as possible. And earlier this year, God had given me a vision that I'm supposed to build special needs homes, and I have no idea how to do that, so I need to learn as much about that as possible. Christopher Taylor. I have my own special needs child too. And one of my challenges is what's going to happen to her when I'm gone. So that is
for sharing. Stay with that plan. That's very important. Thank you. Anyone want to share plan, some kind of goal? Okay, let's think about that. Thank you for sharing.
Okay, this is an impactful presentation that will address challenges faced by caregivers of individuals living with a disability, young and older. Sometimes you wonder about guilt and grief when creating a safe, supportive place for your loved one. This is not a learning experience. This is a session to help you call for action. Acknowledge the emotional struggles and seek the support you deserve. So let's dismantle the barriers that prevent caregivers from expressing their feelings and seeking help. Obtain a deep understanding of how emotions can affect the caregiver's mental health. Okay, I am a mother, although my son is deceased. I had a son, Albert, that I adopted. I got him at 2 years old. And when he came to me, he couldn't hear, he couldn't speak, he had a seizure disorder, and he just had all kind of complications. But to me, he was just a normal child. So what I did is I treated him like a normal child. Although he was in special education, he's on an IEP and everything, he was the love of my life. So everything he got from me because I'm the mother. And a lot of times people don't understand that teaching starts at home. So before my son died at 32, he could do anything he wanted to do because I taught my son myself how to read lips, how to just be in the neighborhood and do what he's supposed to do. Although, don't get me wrong, he had challenges because if he couldn't communicate, he'd tear down everything in the room. But we got through that. But what during that time, what happened is this. When he did things like that, everybody could see that. And they was like, oh my God, look at him, look at him. So that's where I came in, where I needed to have self-care to take care of me because I was going through changes and challenges with all these people looking at my son and looking at me. And I'm like, well, let me take care of me so I can take care of him. Have you ever been challenged where your loved one acted out or they did things that just off guard got you? That happened to anybody? How did you feel when it happened? Right. And that's just how you feel. And I said, I mean, my son tore up the whole doctor's office where they had nice plants and everything. He tore them all down. And then when I had to call the police to come and get him, not to take him to jail, but to take him to the mental complex, what had happened, the seizure medicine they had him on is what caused him to be aggressive. But after he went to the doctor and the doctor found out that it was the medicine, it wasn't him. So how could I be mad at him? He didn't do it. And so a lot of things happens in lives that parents didn't have nothing to do with it. But people say, oh my gosh, she must have been on drugs or she did something wrong for that child to come out like that. So I'm here to help clear that up and let everybody know everybody can be equal in this world. Because people that's supposed to know it all and have it all, wrong, wrong. They don't. They don't. You want to add?
So, and many of us out here, either your caregivers or your support system, you have someone who's helps support you in your daily living. And I think about the challenges. What's an example of maybe your caregiver or something you know one of your support people face? Someone share that. What's one of the challenges you think your caregiver face? Because sometimes we don't think about it, and they are going through some things, and sometimes we have to step back and say, this is really a challenge. What's your name?
Amanda,
Okay.
I feel the things that caregivers face is not being paid enough. I also feel that um that we can't keep caregivers around or support staff around. It's sometimes they aren't able to help us because they're not being paid enough.
Sometimes, really, like I teach, and I don't think they can pay me my worth. So sometimes it take a special person. Would you agree? So sometimes you might not get that money, but it have to be something else in you. But you're right that they more money is good. You like to share it on that? Thank you.
I kind of get what she's getting at, cause it's like during the early years after I graduated high school and finally got my license, and then I've been through like caregiver after caregiver, but then I realized, cause like cause when there were times like where they would not always show up on time to like either take me grocery shopping, or they were too late taking care of someone else before me. And it's like just this year or so I've been I've been, because sometimes I have a person who comes to help me clean.
More
and
reliable.
and, and so like I just gone through one new one after another. It's like a roller coaster.
But then we're right, but you
So
you have found
so the first part was like during my early years when I first started living on my own. This was about a few years after when my grandmother died, because I was staying at their place for a few years, because just to kind of build myself up. And then by the time when I started to realize, like, well, I can't, if something ever happened to my grandfather, where would I be?
but
So
it's gotten better.
but
It's gotten better.
it's gotten a lot better. But let's say it's like back to where I started thinking, like, like I'm a girl who has a driver's license and is licensed to drive, so that's kind of got me into the habit where it's like where I started going grocery shopping by myself
Okay.
on my own time.
So it's gotten better. Just take a log of that. And then
It may have taken a while for some things, but each while
it gets better.
it's gotten more
You got
better.
it gets better.
So
It gets better. Because sometimes you have to, I'm gonna go back and come back up. Give them feedback. If it's not good feedback, get somebody else.
Sometimes it's like, even if well, in my situation, my caseworker, she didn't really listen to me at first because I wanted to be a daycare teacher and she wanted me to be like in woodworking. And I told her, I'm like, no, I know what I want to do. This is what I want to do. I want to be a daycare teacher because it's my dream. And I've been a daycare teacher now for 15 years.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing. See, you know what you want, and you can't let no one tell you what you want.
Hi, again, my name is Pam. I was a daycare teacher, and now I work at the local museum. But when I first started in the state program, IRIS, I had 10 caregivers. I'm down to 4. Yes, they don't get paid enough, and I think it's wrong for them not to get paid enough. Plus, they have at home, they might have an overwhelming situation at home so they have a bad day.
Thanks
So-
for sharing, but we have to keep advocating for that pay. You got to keep talking about it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got to have a passion.
Hi, my name is Mac, and I definitely want to touch base on a couple of things that people have mentioned. I know I've ran into issues as a caregiver where people try to second guess me when I know my brother is better than they ever will. I'll advocate for them, and they try to tell me that I don't really know what I'm talking about, and I'm like, no, I think that's the other way around. I've actually been around them since day one, so I know what their needs are, I know what their wants are, I know what they ultimately what needs to be done. So yeah, you run into that quite a bit. Another thing you run into is people, especially caseworkers and intake people, telling you or trying to make you feel like you shouldn't be paid for what you do. I was doing this for years before I even knew that you could be paid for it. And then when I started getting paid for it, all of a sudden it became an issue. And I'm like, why is it an issue when I was doing this for free for a good 20 years before I even knew you could be paid for it? Because people really don't tell you about these different things. And the only reason I even know that you get paid for supportive home care and personal cares is because of Dolores. My mom and I went to a parent-teacher conference at my brother's high school, John Marshall High School in Milwaukee. And they had an expert there, or a supposed expert, about this. And Dolores basically commandeered the meeting because it was clear that this woman really did not know all of the ins and outs, much like Dolores definitely knows. So yeah, I just had to touch base on that because yeah, I'm listening to people and I'm like, wow, it's much more widespread than I thought it was.
Thanks for sharing, because you've got to have a passion, because sometimes the money not there. Just like in special ed, I mean, I'm probably supposed to make $1 million. I don't, but that's all right. That's all right. Because caretakers, sometimes we got to think about what the challenges they go through. Somebody said they may be having a bad day, but if they're not doing what you want them to do, you got to get somebody else. Someone, raise your hand. Okay.
So, my mama is my caregiver, and I love her so much, and she does like a lot of things for me, but we also have to remember these people often have other things to worry about. Like my mama does have her own life, and she often worries about things other than me, and it's very hard for her sometimes to just um because she has so many things to worry about.
See, that's why we said making that plan, having that goal.
Or either sibling, parent, or somebody that they had to take care of, or be their caregiver. And guess what? The person that they're taking care of outlived them, because you got to do self-care. They don't see the signs that things are going on with them. And so it just happens. And not only that, a lot of parents, I understand you want to take care of your loved one, your sibling, what have you, and you don't work except for them. People think I'm crazy when I say this, but it's the truth. Everybody need a real job with their name and their social security number on it. Because if something happened to that loved one you're taking care of, guess what you got coming? Nothing. Nothing. I mean, if you didn't put your own social security in there, you have nothing coming. Example, I had a parent in Milwaukee. She had 2 kids with disabilities. And one had a lot of disabilities and the other one had some disabilities. Well, she met this guy, they got married, they loved each other, and he quit his job because they were getting paid for these 2 kids. Well, the one with the big case, I'll call it a case, he died. So when he died, they cut the money. They lost their house, they lost their car, and she lost her husband. And now she never worked a day in her life. She has cancer and she has nothing to fall back on for income. Don't get me wrong, they'll give her a little SSI. But if she had took her tail to work when she was younger, while her kids were growing up, she would have had something to do. So that's self-care too, where you got to look out for your future. Because right now, this is hanging on, but you don't know how long it's going to hang on. So by them losing their house, I mean, they had to start all over. She has cancer. She still has her daughter who got a little bit of long-term services, but you see what happens if you don't take care of yourself and your household? It's a mess. Anybody want to comment on that? We good? Sarah, you want to comment?
Well, I was just gonna share how it was in a as a day in the development and training workshop. The goal of the plan there was, first of all, you had to get through the activities of daily living, trying to get to those steps so that you could move on to the next step. And that next step would have been working in the actual workshop, working on different contracts, and getting a paycheck. You, well, I'm sure everybody in here that has a job and getting a paycheck, you know how thrilled you are when payday comes. So these clients that were in the workshop, oh, they were just elated, you know. Hey, I'm making my own funds, you know, to do with however I want. So their plan always from Jump Street was to get through those activities that would get them to the workshop. And I must say, like I say, it's been 20, 30 years, and I really enjoyed working with the population. And I guess it takes a special person, you know, to deal with the population. And I guess I was part of it because, like I say, I did it for 15, 20 years. All right. That's what I have to offer.
One thing I need to echo and I need to share with you guys. You may feel a little apprehension about job and certain disabilities. You have to keep in mind you're protected by the law, and don't let anybody else change your mind. And you're protected, and don't forget that there's different laws that will protect you. So, and it's a certain percentage. I know we live in a rough climate, but you've got to remember there's laws behind you. Okay?
Okay, how many of you have community support in your life? Like, say, for instance, if you have a job or you part of a group or something, what do you do for recreation? Just kind of keep your body and your whole mind going forward. Who wanted to answer? Okay, Amanda, right? Oh,
There was a work floor. I did Peace Rate. I did all that. Been there, done that. I've done community jobs. Let's see. I did work at R Donnelly, which is a similar position, which I did diabetic kits, which you put parts in to for the instructions for people that are diabetic. And then we also did vision formula. And when I got that $400 check, I was elated.
right.
I felt like a new person versus when I was getting Peace Rate.
Right. Right.
And so it's a lot different now than it was when I started ODC or back then.
You know, I've worked 35 years in a group home. And I adopted 4 kids with all special needs. And now when I look back on it, I'm like, wow, everything is so different now than it was back then. Because that would be like 40 years ago, because I've been retired for 5 years. But Everybody that I've worked with in the group home, we had such a great relationship that it's like we were all at home. If anybody needed any type of support, we had like a buddy system in there. You had somebody you could talk to, because what happens is a lot of times when people go into group homes, it's because they lost their parents and they don't have nobody to buddy or support for them. So does everybody in here have support in their lives? Right? Because you got to have that support, because if you don't, it'll make you go backwards. It really will, because even my residents in the group home, they only really had their parents who were their guardians. And then when the parent died, they had cousins and all kind of relatives, but they never came to see them. So we had family right there in the group home, and it worked out real well. So that's what I meant by community support.
Thank you, Dolores. I just want to add that community support, having worked at, well, I graduated from Milwaukee Area Technical College, and I was always involved in that school. But I worked at Atlanta Technical College for years, almost 20 years. And it's very strong support system at the technical colleges, because we had communities of different people with different disabilities. How many people have connected with the technical colleges around? And what was your experience like? So you can understand what I'm saying. So if you're not familiar, connect with the technical college, and I almost can guarantee you it's a very, very positive. If they can't help you, I can guarantee you they connect you with the right resource.
I have a student, well, he's an adult now, he's 21. I've been working with him for a couple years now. He's here at the conference. His name is Isaiah. Isaiah was thrown out of high school for having seizures, which is against the law. But when the school realized they were pseudo seizures, which are fake seizures, they threw him out. Well, Big Mouth Dolores told the Department of Education in Washington, D.C. And so Washington, D.C. called DPI, state of Wisconsin, and asked them why was his child thrown out of school. Well, you know, in 2 weeks' time, he was back in school. And when I had him put back in school, I wanted to see his IEP. And they were like, no, you're not the mom. You can't do that. So the mom wrote a note so that I could do it. But my point is this. Isaiah was 20, he's 21 years old. Isaiah been going to school all these years. He still couldn't write his name. He didn't know his address. He didn't know anything. Because he had these seizures, they just put him in the corner and leave him. Now at 21, he's learned to write his name. We working on the address, and we getting things together, because if something happens to his parent, he totally out of luck. Totally out of luck. His family had a car accident about 4 months ago, and everybody got hurt in the car except Isaiah. But he could not even tell who was what or what was what. So we've been working on that to bring him up to par. So what I'm saying is, I'm like his support figure. I'm his support in his family, because he needs some type of support. Because like I said, if something happened to his mother, Isaiah's, this is the thing. If you have a disability and you go to school, when you come out, that's the pipeline to prison. Anything that you do, they will lock you up. And it sounds terrible, but it's true. Because the judge looks at it like, well, you ain't learned nothing all this time. You ain't gonna learn nothing now. So Isaiah, because of me, guess where he goes to school? Marquette University, for free in Milwaukee. I don't know if you know anybody ever heard of Marquette, but it is a private school and it costs a lot of money. But he goes for free because I partner with them, and I asked them, could they please help me with him? And then when MPS, different teachers found out, they was like, well, where do I go to sign up? I got kids need to go. I said, I did that. So what they did is they started a research pilot program to see, can you start somebody over at 21 and help his life be better for up and coming life, because our parents not gonna be here forever. I'm not even gonna be here forever, but to try to help him support himself. That was a good thing. Sarah. You want to-
I'm just going to piggyback because I want someone to share with us with this all about designing your plan at this particular time as you move forward. We need what would be really a realistic goal at this point that may get you through to the next couple months. What is a goal that you would have to go to college? And what would you want to study? Okay. And that's a realistic goal. That's possible. You could do that. So the person next to you, what's your name? Franklin. What's the goal? What is something that someone said, Franklin, you can at this point do what you would want? What would that be? Short term, it doesn't have to be long drawn out. What is something you feel like I can handle this? Well, what you're not doing that you may want to do. Be an advocate. Okay. Be an advocate. And when you say be an advocate for yourself or who? Okay. And be an advocate. What one thing you would want to do to help someone? Because that's positive. What's one thing? What do you do that you think right now? Why would you want to do that? Yeah, to help people. Because people what? What do people need help? Yeah. Okay. Next person. What is something you withdraw? Absolutely. See, that's positive. That's positive.
Give him a diehard word like you.
See, that's positive. And then that would make even the community, everybody stronger. Because at this point, everybody need help. Right? Next person. Okay. You said artist. Okay, so when we say artist, you say artist, you draw? You, Mhm. That's positive. So that's something you can do almost every day and share it. You can share at your neighborhood library. Positive. Okay, I live in Mason. That's positive because I know someone, she likes to draw, and her drawings now is showcased in a library because they were like, okay, you want to draw? Let's share that work. You never know where that'll take you. What's your passion right here? What's your passion? What do you like to do? What do you like to do in back of him? What do you like? Yes. Okay. And that's always needed, someone, isn't it? So you find someone who can make that connection for you, right? So this is what it's all about, designing your own plan. That makes you feel better.
You know, and in any plan that you take, there are steps you have to go by, step by step. You just can't just jump in and not have a plan to, in order to accomplish your goal, you got to know what direction you're going in. And doing this will get you to where you want to be. Okay, if it's your plan, it's your prerogative to be involved in what your plan says that you're gonna do. Okay, so once you put your what you want to have done, that's where you start. You got to have that plan and stick to those step by step things that will give you the opportunity to reach the goal. Just like this young lady saying, driving a vehicle, you had a plan. Yes, you. Yes. The young lady that says that she had a driver's license, did I hear you say you have a car even?
All right.
Okay,
then.
can I ask you this? What was your plan that you got to this point? What steps did you take?
Well, of course, I would have to go through that driving stuff and, the driving test, with the studying, but of course, with me, I took because I did the whole shebang with driving test course,
Step by step.
right after high school.
Okay.
Then why within that year, even though I took the bit, well, computerized now, but still, I took that and I, I, I got passed on my second try, but then by the time when I did the driving thing, I passed on my first try. I still believe that. Yeah, from a more when I had my license in my hand, it felt like, it's like the whole, it's like. Yeah. It's like when, freedom.
Mm-hmm.
You accomplished something you set up.
This little tiny thing is like your key to being able to go and drive to. Yeah.
Well, like you had a plan. Yes, yes. And it didn't just happen overnight. It was step by step by step.
See the clean book and sometimes I don't want to read all this, so it's like I'm not going to go to a library and pick up a book once a month.
Good for you.
Congratulations.
Yes. See, and that's one thing. Sometimes we all have tried something and failed at it. We've always failure. It's all right. Some people really, and I know personally, some people and in myself, I had to get over. When you fail, that's a learning experience, and some people really take it to heart and have a real struggle recovering. True or false? How many people failed at something before? And how many people just brushed it off and got back up and kept on trying? And that's what you call success.
Okay, anybody want to comment on anything before we go any further? Anybody liking this session? All right. I'm having a little acid reflex going on here, but mental health, read mental health.
Okay, mental health. Mental health. Caregiving can affect mental health, including stress, anxiety, and depression. Trust me, it is important to seek help. Trust me on that. When needed, and prioritize your emotions and your mental health without fearing judgment. Very, very, very important. It's a big push now. I think we hear it from all kind of celebrities or just anybody. When you hide that mental health, what happens when you hide it? Thank you. Real loud. It doesn't get better. It's like digging a hole because you're going to fall over in it. Mental health, everyone. Let me tell you, my own personal, I had this big old anxiety. You know, I'm kind of over it, but I kind of fall back here and there. When I'm driving, I have this, I get into the traffic. Atlanta is a lot of traffic. So I get into the traffic, and then as I'm driving, and then I go on the expressway, I feel like I'm going into this hole and just falling. And then anxiety set in, and I'm like, oh my God. I had my son and a couple other people, and I feel like I was just sinking, and I found the nearest exit and got off that expressway. Everyone, you know, and I confronted that anxiety. So I just drive on the expressway when there's not too many cars out there, or I avoid it all the way because GPS can have all kind of routes. But the point is, mental health. If you need help, get it. Right. And that's something to remember. How many stepped up into certain situations in their life and overcame that fear? Good. Good, yeah. Overcoming the fear. That's what you call what? Mind growth. Mind growth.
Want to do what he want to do. After my son got sick with bacterial meningitis, he had a seizure disorder, so he had to wear a helmet. He had the seizures, and he had left side paralysis, so he had a brace on his leg and on his arm. And one day he went out the door with all of his equipment in his hand. And I'm like, what is he doing? He threw it in the garbage. So I'm out there like, he done lost his mind. Let me get this stuff out the garbage. And he slammed my hand out, the top down on my hand. But that he was trying to tell me he was growing out of that stuff. Although I left it in the garbage, I let the garbage man take it, and I just said, Lord, help his head, or do whatever you can do to help me, because I'm fitting to be the one crazy. Now I'm gonna need the helmet. But he never injured his head, and it was just a good thing that I could emotionally take that, because it worried me when he would go to school or he went anyplace else or anybody wanted him to go somewhere. So that's where I needed the emotional support from other people, because I would tell them that, well, Albert used to do this, we got him. And then before I knew him, they did have him. You know, they helped me take care of him. But it took a whole load off me, because I would just sit in the house and my heart would just beat. Is he all right? Is he all right? And then when I messed around and let him go to camp for 2 weeks, oh Lord, no helmet, no braces, no nothing. And he did wonderful. He even got up in the middle of the night, got his money out of his pocket, and got on the elevator and went and got him a soda. And they told me they found him getting the soda at 2 in the morning. I'm like, was he by himself? They said, yes. But the Lord said he was fine. So that's where that emotions come in me again, where my mental things like, I should have never let him go. So, you know, sometimes we have to learn to let go and let them live and let them grow. And so I had to do that. Although, don't get me wrong, he's dead and gone now. But if I could get him to bust a window today, I would love it. I would love it because he was my pride and joy. But I had to hold myself together and make things move on in my life. And that's what your parents have to do for you, or you have to do for your kids, or what have you. Anybody got a question or anything? So now you have to build support because you need that support when you get like me, antsy because your child growing up. So when we build support, we have to highlight our local resources, including churches, support groups, and community initiatives that can aid caregivers on their journey and take ownership of your emotional well-being and the understanding feelings that are valid and shared by many. That's hard, but it's easy. Because how many of you have an adult child that has a disability in here? Okay. Have you ever feared them going somewhere? So, huh? Okay, did you ever fear that? And it's a heavy thing on your heart. It's a heavy thing. And then when you lose them, it's even heavier. Right. It's even heavier because you won't see them again. But you know, you think about the great thoughts. But when I lost my son, I had so much support because although he was bad, he was terrible, he was Albert. He did just what he wanted to do. Tear up the doctor's office, the clinic, wherever. But people did not hate him for that. They loved the idea that I tried. And I made it right for him because he went everywhere and he did everything. So in my lifetime, I've lost two sons. One, there was nothing wrong with him. He was a truck driver for Pepsi. And at 37, he got sarcoidosis. Anybody know what that is? That's the same thing. You know who Bernie Mac is? It's the same thing that killed Bernie Mac, sarcoidosis. My son's lungs filled and swollen up and it smothered him. And it's like, oh my God, I had him all these years and nothing was wrong with him. And now he's gone. Did I see somebody raise their hand over here? You.
Both of my parents passed away. They worried about me, and I was in a foster home, and so I outlived my foster parents, my natural parents, and I live on my own.
That's a blessing.
And
That's a blessing.
I'm sure if they were here, they would be so proud of me.
Yeah. I'm sure you had great support now that you can live on your own. I
I
had great support that got you there.
4th grade.
That's nice.
And friends, they love me.
That's nice. Because we got some people that supposedly got it all together and they can't get it together to go live on their own.
But I also have God.
That's all right. You got something to say, Mr. Matt? Did you have something to say?
Not at this moment.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw your hand. Anybody else have want to comment?
Well, I do speak for her because today today marks my brother's 4th anniversary since he recently passed. He passed in 2022, so today is his, he died October 22 unexpectedly. And so today will be this anniversary, 4 years today. Um, because he and I were like this. I mean, we were like this. And throughout the many years, he was always he always had my back and we were, because you know, of my mother's of the other births that she had, and she, you know, but he and I were like, you know, we were like inseparable, my mother had told me, because he, it's like, cause, but even though after his passing, he, you know, my mom and I were still kind of.
It takes a while.
It takes, yeah.
People grieve differently, and it takes longer for others to let go. Because with my mother, I didn't want to
Stay with me is the day before his passing, because I still got to talk to him the day before. Because I went to my very first conference here, and then that Friday I spoke to him, even, and, you know, the following day he died, and like, that part will always still get to me, because, you know, like how many people talks or sees their loved one their last time, and not especially, you know, because so that part I still want to, and these gloves for my brothers, and
Nice.
because he used to play
Keep
pool.
close to you.
And they keep it close, I don't care how when they get, but it's about.
That's good thinking. You help and support yourself.
And,
Make your goals.
and since
alive,
my
keep them alive.
mother, she needs sometimes help as well, she has support too, and since I'm not the only relative that's not close, because I have one brother with special needs, he lives in a group home, not too far near Mass and Pittsburgh, and I have another brother who lives out state near Nebraska, so traveling is hard. Cause you know, with costs and stuff, so I am like the only person so far who comes to steer on next model that I'm trying to get to, which is nothing why I love and enjoy having my Vixens, because I get to, cause I get to see her and she gets to see me, and so, yeah.
Well, thank you. That is great news.
Well, I was the same way as I'm not as an essay, but I lost my grandmother, my mom, on my 18th birthday back in 2014. And when she passed, my heart broke into a million pieces.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. That's why you have to build support, so you have support.
Yeah,
This
I
is
have
what I-
known today. I entered this planet. She was there. She was Mother's Day. I was born. She was the kind of grandmother could have stopped holding me.
Right, oh, I'm sure. But this is what I would like for you to do. I didn't do it in this session. I usually in this session, I do vision boards. But you don't have to do a vision board. But when you go home, get your journal out and write down things that you want to see, or just draw a tree and put some leaves on it. Something you want to do to design your own plan for the future. If you got a buddy or a friend, just get together, have coffee and tea, and design your trees so that you can figure out just what's what and what you would like to do just to make your life easier, make somebody else's life easier. I have people that did vision boards 8, 9 years ago. They have them framed in their living room right now. And they lived by their vision board. I have another flyer here. In this flyer, this one shows my parents doing vision boards. And one of the parents is sitting right back there. Well, she was getting her vision board together. Yeah, you, Jackie, your picture on here. But you should just try that, your vision board, and it'll give you something to keep you close to you and look like things are happening, a plus day for you. It's not a negative day. So just try it. Anybody have the question? But just try it. Do a vision board, because this is all about you. And some people, I had them use magazines and cut stuff out of the magazines, like what they wanted to see happen in 3 months or 6 months or whatever. But do a vision board and think about you, because you're your biggest support. You need support, but you're your biggest support.
Thank you. One thing I would like to say is, one thing that we have to learn, and this is something that I teach a lot of social emotional learning, is getting in touch with yourself when you're feeling good. For example, when you're having a good day, what is something that makes your day right here? Hearing from friends, and you might, you know, every day at a certain time, you might, if you don't, maybe you'll call someone or you'll make it a point to do something. And I've learned to write down, what really made me feel good today? And so that I can repeat that. We have to get in touch with that. And then when you repeat what makes you feel good, it's a habit. Thank you. Thank you. How many of us, when we wake up, we really recognize something special in the morning? We should, yes. Yes. One thing I have incorporated in it's usually in the morning discussion in class. And I ask each person, how you feeling? And some people, I'm feeling great. Some people, I don't feel too great. Why? You got to it's important to get in touch with your emotions. Why? What makes you feel good? And I used to not keep a journal, but I keep a sketchy one because I need to recognize why I'm feeling good and what makes me feel good so that I can repeat that. Because as you get older, and as sometimes one thing I do is, but I'm an optimistic person. I like to take pictures. When I'm feeling good, I take a lot of pictures. And then during my time, I look at them. I look back at them so I can remind myself, you have good days. And sometimes you need to see them. Sometimes you forget. So taking pictures is a good thing. You can reflect on them or jotting something down. That makes sense. Anybody have any special thing they do to reflect on their good feelings? Anyone? Okay. Yes. Absolutely. That's a big one, music. Every morning, if my family don't hear me with that music, they be like, where is she? We don't hear that music. It's like a ritual I go through. Right. So yes, keep in mind that she can still see what you're doing. Devotions, that's positive. We've got to repeat what makes us feel good. You have to repeat it. Then you have good days. Then your good days can outshine your bad days. Hmm. Okay. See, that's positive. We gotta latch hold to something so we can our good days outweigh our bad days. Because every day we don't, might not feel good, but it's something that will make you feel better. Okay, that's a good one. Let those emotions out. That's positive. Color. I like to dibble dabble with pictures.
Sarah, it's going to do in the conclusion. And so, in conclusion, together, that's a powerful word, together, we can promote healing and understanding within our community.
So, anybody have any questions or anything you'd like to say or?
So sometimes I struggle with discouragement, and I have tried to make it a habit where if I'm feeling discouraged, I'm gonna pick up my phone, I'm gonna call somebody, and I'm going to encourage.
Absolutely.
And it really helps.
Right.
That's
Share a
possible.
good feeling with somebody that makes their day too. It really does. 'Cause even when I'm having a bad day, I call somebody so I can get a positive feel. Because I mean, all days not bad, but some of them are rough. So it's time for our class to be over, but we do have a form that we need you to fill out saying what you thought of this class. You have those, Cynthia?
Yep, I'm thinking about you.
Okay, well, make sure you fill it out and leave it in the middle of the table or give it to Cynthia. So that we can see how this went today.
Thank you so much for sharing. This was very positive.